How are you today?
So happy to have you.
I'm
Hey,
so
everybody.
excited to be here. Hi.
Do we have some PLLers in this room? Yes, raise
Right
your
there.
hand.
Oh, hey, hi. Oh, yeah, you told me you were going to be here. That's so cool. We met on Good Morning America.
Cool.
She's going to become an actress, so at some point we can turn the camera on her. 'Cause
That's
this is going to be her
awesome.
moment.
What's your name? Welcome, Paige. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to talk about, well, now it's the final 9 episodes because we
I
saw one on
know.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Happy but sad. An
It
end of an era.
is. It is. It is. It's totally bittersweet. And that's what, as we were discussing in the other room, like, I'm super excited to share these last 9 episodes with the fans. Like, so excited. Like, I don't understand why we have to wait every Tuesday to share them with you. But at the same time, I'm really sad because then once it's done, it'll be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it been for you? This is like your final press tour. I saw you with all the girls in New York City. Is it going to be hard for you to say goodbye, or is it a little bit more exciting and
I think it's more that it is truly the end of an era. It's like me and Ashley and Shay were like in the car and we were driving around and we were kind of like, wow, we have been coming to New York for 7 years, having way too much fun, and then we leave and then we go back to LA and then we start shooting. And it's really crazy that we will never be back in New York all together again promoting the show and then have to leave and go back and shoot. You know what I mean? It's one of those things now where it's like I have no doubt that I'm going to see everybody and hang out with everybody, but it will never be under the same circumstances. Yeah.
Well, did everyone watch Tuesday night's episode? Man, it's setting
You
up.
did?
for
Okay,
some-
cool. So there's no spoilers.
Yeah, setting
I'm
up for some
alive.
Good
Haha.
stuff. I know. I was nervous there. I was like, she's coming to build. I hope she survives this episode.
I know, right? That would be a very different somber mood. I was like, well, I died.
Is it hard for you over the past 7 years to keep the secrets of the show? Because now you kind of know what happens.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's the worst.
And I know Marlene's pretty tough on you guys being very.
It's self-inflicted because you don't want to ruin it for people. Like, I have so many times over these past 7 years, people were like, who's A? And I was like, first of all, you don't want me to tell you because that would ruin everything. And even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. But it is true that like all the time, like, what was the thing that most recently happened? Like, I'm even afraid right now to like go over, but like there was some spoiler and it was 100% out. It was out in public. Like they had aired this past summer. And then we were revisiting it when we were talking about what had happened. And I think one of us thought that it was a spoiler and like we all went beet red.
It was like the pregnancy, right?
The pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like I didn't even want to bring it up because I was afraid it still hadn't happened. And so we all like just kind of stared at each other and we're like, oh, did we just seriously mess up? And then it was like the audience member that had to be like, no, it's fine. We know that Allie's pregnant. We were like, oh my God.
Yeah, Allie's pregnant, which is caused some other theories to be launched
I love all
online
the
about
fan
like
theories.
maybe it's Emily's eggs that were implanted into Allison by A. Have you heard this
Rosewood
one?
is no, yeah, I know. I've heard all the theories. I love all the theories. And like they all are equally plausible because Rosewood is insane. You know what I mean? Like I've heard theories that like Pam Fields is A.
Oh my
and I'm like, it could happen in a world.
Who is A? Just now.
I just told you don't want me to tell you.
Were-
Are you listening?
Well,
you
were
don't want me
you-
to tell you this.
Were you happy with who you found out who A was when you found out? Were you like satisfied with that? Will fans be satisfied, or is it a complete shock, or is it something that
Can you imagine if I told you right now, like, no, I was really pissed, actually.
I would love it because then people would be like, I need to know even more who A is
Really?
and why she's pissed.
Okay, well, I think the good thing is that actually it was funny, it was a really long night shoot between Keegan and I was so tired of not knowing, and I think it was like season 5 or something, so we still had 2 years, we knew that we had 2 years, but I was just like so annoyed and frustrated. As a person on the show, like I cannot even imagine how frustrating it would be to be a fan. I was so annoyed that I cornered Marlene, and I was like, Marlene, you are going to tell me the ending of this series, and you are going to tell me now. And she was like, well, I don't, like, I've pitched it to them, but, like, I don't even know if they'll go for it. And I was like, I don't care. I need something to go on because I'm dying over here. Yeah. And so she was like, you really want to know? And I was like, yes. And then, of course, Keegan was, like, eating chips, and he was like, wait, what are you talking about? And Keegan will appreciate that impersonation of him because it's so accurate. So Marlene kind of like, we called it story time with Marlene, and in between the takes of that scene, she sat Keegan and I down and she told us the whole story that she had planned for the next 2 years. including other characters, and it was amazing. It was like being told like a fun, scary story by like your camp counselor. You know what I mean? Because she had thought about details, and she had thought about like all these twisted back, these like back alley connections, and like, and yeah, I was super super excited when I heard, because I just felt like it was the perfect ending for this mystery, and I felt like it was something that the fans would be really really excited by, you know.
Woohoo, I'm
Yeah,
excited. Now,
I'm really excited. I'm
did
like,
that help you kind of, because it must be hard when you don't really know what the end goal is. Did that, information kind of inform you and your character in the final few seasons? Because I'm sure it's hard to play Spencer when you kind of don't know what might happen in the future.
well, and that's the thing, it's like, and I feel so bad for some of the poor guest stars, because they always come in and they're like asking us, they're like, am I evil? Like, do you think I'm bad? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. They don't tell me anything. I think we all of the, like the girls and I, the liars, like we all like to know a little bit more so that we really can play into the surprise of it. It's like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's like the original, the Mona storyline. It's like we kind of wanted to know that that's where Mona was going, and Janelle wanted to know that that's where Mona was going, so that she could totally not play into it. And so that Hannah could get close to her without being suspicious of her, because you want that surprise to be there for the girls. So I personally like to know. I mean, Ashley Benson loves to be surprised, which is always a delightful moment in the table reads, when literally it's like Hannah walks in a room and is like cold clocked. You know what I mean? And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Did you not read this?"
Yeah, when did you guys get the scripts before each episode? Was it one of those, like, I know on the set of Scandal, they can't really read the upcoming scripts because they like to keep everything a secret for the cast? Was that the same for you guys?
All right, so here's how it worked. And it was tough. You get the script. I mean, this happens on most network television shows, or cable too, where they don't write it all out in months in advance. You get the script the day before you start shooting, essentially. So, sorry, you get the script one day before. So you get it on like a Tuesday night. You have a table read during your lunch, in between shooting the last episode, when the network and the studio get to hear it and put any final notes that they want. And then, so that'll be like Wednesday, and like on Thursday, you'll start shooting that episode. So generally, you would only get to know what was happening to your character with 24 hours of notice, or 48 at the most, which was a lot. It was a doozy, you know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden, like, I don't know, Spencer like is water skiing in this episode, and you're like, oh God, I hope I know how to water ski. So it was a fast turnaround. So what the girls used to do is the crew had to get scripts, because props would have to know what props to get. Like hair and makeup would need to know if there was like an epic crying scene, I'm gonna need to reset your makeup like, all the time. Or if there's like an ice ball, like it's gonna be a big look for costume. So they would always get it ahead of us, and then we would sit in the makeup chairs and secretly read it. Yeah. But we had to be sworn to secrecy, because all the time the poor hair and makeup would get into trouble, because we'd go and we'd be like, I don't really think that my character would do that in the next episode. And of course, like everybody in the studio would be like, come on, like you can't keep on sharing that.
Well, even like the most recent one, when you're like, oh, Spencer shot. Did you see that in the makeup room, and you're like, oh, they're gonna have to do all that? What's gonna happen to me? What's gonna happen to me on this episode?
Well, it was interesting, because I didn't get the call that was like, enjoy your free time. You know what I mean? So I did know, I didn't know to what extent Spencer would be like in a hospital for a long time or something like that. So I knew that I wasn't going anywhere, but it was a pretty big shock.
Yeah. So let's talk about Spencer's storyline on these final 9 episodes.
Yeah, let's.
We saw a little reveal that Mary Drake is your mom.
She says
she's your mom.
Well, she says, and then actually my mom corroborates it, so she is. Yeah. See, I can't even like keep up with how much. I'm like, she says. It's like that stressful for me on my daily life. Yeah. So she's my mom, and you heard Veronica Hastings tell the story about how I was brought into this world. And then I got the letter written on Radley Sanitarium paper that I was a baby born in a madhouse. And I was essentially born out of Mary Drake's wanting to punish the Hastings and the De Laurentises. It's like what a crazy thing for a person to find out. You know what I mean? That I mean, first of all, it explains a heck of a lot with Jessica De Laurentiis. Like, I always felt like Jessica De Laurentiis was like super weird with Spencer and like kind of mean. And then you understand that like these families were so intertwined in so many weird, twisted ways that now it's sort of like, I don't know, it's great. It's great that Spencer is actually getting some answers because I feel like she has felt like the black sheep of her family for so long, and now at least the world is like, well, you're not gonna like it, but you weren't wrong, you know.
How does this affect her going forward with the final few episodes? Does Spencer change at all? Is she more, now that she's more aware of her background?
Well, I think it's ultimately going to depend on if Spencer really believes herself to be a Hastings and wants to continue forward in life. You know, her mother's is in politics and she was helping her. It's like, is that important to her, or is she a Drake? Is she somebody who has been in and out of mental institutions, which she has, and has been on the lam and has lived a life in secrecy and has, blackmailed people, and I think she could really live in either world, and I think it's going to be up to her where she decides she feels the most comfortable.
Yeah. And I have to ask about this crazy board game that you girls opened.
Oh yeah, the live.
What is going to happen with that? Are we gonna play that board game and find out some secrets?
Well, it turns out Spencer already played it. Yeah, that was a moment in which I felt pretty bad when like all the other girls were like, "Yeah, we're definitely not gonna play this," and Spencer was like, "Yeah, totally." Yeah, she opened up Pandora's box. I don't know what they could have avoided. I don't know how they could have gotten out of it, but there was a way out, and now Spencer's led them right down the rabbit hole, and now they have to see how far it goes.
Oh my God, this is creeping me out, guys. I need to know the end of
that
Pretty
game
Little
is
Liars.
dangerous. Let me tell you right now, it's way worse than anything we've ever dealt with.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You guys have dealt with a lot in real
I know.
Let's talk about what moment for you throughout the series has been like the craziest, most outlandish thing that when you read it, you were like, are we really going to do this? Are we really going to go there?
My God, it was funny. We used to make these videos. We found this shark because we were the Rosewood Sharks, right? So we had this like stuffed shark. And I think we made videos of the entire crew, like slow motion jumping over the shark. For those of you guys who don't know that phrase, it's when a TV show has jumped the shark, it's like, they're just like, they don't care about reality anymore. They're just like, whatever, like anything can happen in this world. Like this dude can get pregnant, whatever. And I think Pretty Little Liars kind of jumped the shark like so crazy early on that we really had the freedom to go anywhere. So yes, there were moments like when Emily was locked in a box and it was on like a conveyor belt towards a buzzsaw, like Rocky and Bullwinkle style, that I was like, nah. Or like, it was like so early though. It's like the whole like Halloween train episode. But it's stuff like that when I read it, I'm always like, guys, seriously, really? Like Adam Lambert is gonna sing to us on a train? Like, what is this episode? And then you see it and you're like, Adam Lambert sang to us on a train. This was awesome. You know what I mean? Like it always turns out really cool. And that's why I really love the writers so much, because they did take us in crazy directions, but they always grounded it in an emotional reality. So to me, to answer your question, long way around, the dollhouse for me was the top moment, because I sort of got frustrated with the constant, like, we're living this life where we have boyfriends or girlfriends and like we're making grades, even though we never do our homentwork. And
Go to school.
or go to school. We just run around the woods in heels. But also we're being blackmailed and like and mentally tortured. And it was amazing when A kidnapped all of us and put us in a bunker that looked exactly like our rooms, and it was a living dollhouse. And finally I was like, oh, this is what the show has been underneath the surface. It was like we finally got to like rip the top layer off and say like, we know you think that we're just a teen soap, but really we're this. Yeah. So it was kind of a freeing moment when we got to play these set of circumstances, because we no longer had to pretend anymore that we were just like going to school like normal girls. It was like, no, this is gonna get crazy.
This is the way it is. And I think that's why everyone loves Pretty Little Liars, right? It's for all that crazy stuff that happens and the murder mystery behind it all.
Well, I think it is also because, look, high school is traumatic. And bullying obviously is a very, very real trauma that people have to deal with. But I think the interesting thing is that for me, at least in high school, everything felt like life or death. You know what I mean? Like Tess, if a boy liked you or didn't like you, or asked you to the prom or whatever, like everything really felt like life or death. Your best friend not talking to you. It's the worst thing that could possibly happen. And so it's interesting to be on a show that's about high school that truly feels like you could live or die, because I do think that that's something that our audience, like, those are emotions that they experience. Norman Buckley, one of our directors, always said to me, he said, the circumstances on the show are fantastical, but the emotions are grounded. Because I was having a fit when, like, when Mona came back to school, and I was like, I don't know if I can say bitch, but whatever. This bitch tried to kill me. She pushed me off the side of a mountain. Like, what? Why is she back in school? She was committed. She was crazy. And now I'm in science class with her again? Like, no. I was, like, having a fit on set. And Norman was like, no, this is the thing. That would never happen, but what happened if it did? Yeah. Because that's what sometimes it feels like when you've gone through a fight with somebody, and then you have to, like, partner with them in chemistry. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know, that's what I kind of always loved about the show.
Yeah. Man, I love the show too. Tell us what we can expect from these final episodes. Any hints? I know you can't give away any spoilers, but what can fans really look forward to?
She's down there, she's like, don't tell me anything. I think that fans truly, and I know that we've honestly had to say this. There have been past seasons where, like, I feel like we've been told, they're like, tell them that they're gonna get answers, and I'm like, no, because they won't.
They'll never get an
answer. Yeah, and it's gonna be frustrating, and I'm not doing that, and you can do that. No, but honestly, these are your answers. Like, and that's what I'm the most excited for, because all of these confusing storylines and all of these twists and turns, we get to finally, like I had story time with Marlene and it ended my frustrations. Like, you all will get story time with Pretty Little Liars, and it will end your frustrations. And it will also, I think, truly be satisfying, because it's not just about wrapping up the mystery. It's about leaving these girls and the people in their lives in a place, in a beautiful and healthy space where we can say goodbye to them all. I don't think we ever want to leave them I know, I'm sorry. I don't think we ever want to leave them in a position where we don't know what lies ahead. We don't want to live the rest of their lives for them, but I do think we want to send them off in a really beautiful way, because it's been an honor to play them. Yeah.
So there will be closure, because we live in an age of sequels and spin-offs. Will this show, it gives you that closure, or does it leave the door open for future installments or a movie or something?
It definitely leaves the door. It leaves the door open, because there's always more life to live. But I do think that there's closure, because the who AD is wrapped up. You know what I mean? Like, you're given those answers. Does it mean that the girls suddenly, like, all die and go to heaven and then they're just, like, partying? No. They're going to have a life after this, and that's what the finale is about as well. Is it's about saying goodbye to them and sending them off on their different paths as well. But it is interesting, because at this point, I don't know what the purpose of a movie or, like, a reunion would be, other than to just, like, have some awesome banter between, like, Hannah and Spencer. You know what I mean? Yeah, just like a reunion thing. But the mystery, I think, there'll have to be a totally new mystery, and I don't know how to top this one. It's pretty good.
Well, speaking of life after something, what is your life going to look like after Pretty Little Liars? What are your plans and maybe your hopes or dreams?
I'm sharing my hopes and dreams today. I'm so excited. No,
I know you're working on a movie, though, right? Or you shot a movie?
I just wrapped a film in Toronto. It was very cold. And I got to shoot it with my now husband. I almost said my boyfriend. So that was crazy. Got married. We went on a honeymoon. Then we shot a film together. Didn't kill each other, so things are going well. I'm very, very excited for it. I think it's going to be a beautiful film. And then I'm super excited because I also am a writer, and I've had a great time sort of creating worlds and producing things as well. And so I got to write and act in and produce my first feature film. It's really exciting. It's called Feed, and it's going to be released this summer. It's about a deeply personal story to me, so I'm really, really excited to share that with everybody. And then walking around the streets of New York, like, honestly, my hopes and dreams, I would love to get back on the stage. I really miss it so much.
Love to see that. That's amazing.
You're like, theater.
Theater.
Yeah.
Well, so that's great. I can't wait to see what you do next, and I can't wait to see Feed. It sounds awesome.
Thank you.
But I want to open it up to some fan
Yes, please.
questions. we go.
Hello.
My question is, I know you directed an episode of PLL, and do you like directing or acting better? And do you want to pursue not only acting, but producing and directing also?
Yeah, as I was saying, I definitely do. I think both of my parents are creators. They're writers and directors and producers, and they taught me at a very young age that you can't wait around for somebody to give you a role. Look, it's wonderful. Everybody wants, Darren Aronofsky to be like, let's do this. But that's not always going to happen. And I think like Britt Marling is a really incredible example of somebody who's like, I'm not going to wait around to play somebody's girlfriend. I'm going to create my own world. And I think that's something that deeply resonates with me because I love telling stories and I love building relationships. And so I will definitely continue writing and directing and producing, whether it's more films or whether it is television. I feel like I want to have a long career, and I know that can't always be in front of the camera. You can't play everybody because God, I'd get sick of your face.
I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much.
Who's next?
Hi.
Hi, Paige.
Well, you're a huge inspiration to a whole bunch of people, including me, for writing and acting, and now directing and producing too. I was wondering if you had any advice and what people who want to be an actress or a writer, like what they can expect.
Yeah, I would say for me, what was really important, there's some people who just walk out of the womb and they feel comfortable acting. I had to fall on my face a lot, and I still am falling on my face. I just had a job where I fell on my face for 7 years as Spencer. For me, it's about putting yourself in an environment, in a laboratory style learning experience. So for me, that was going to theater school. And I got my BFA from USC School of Theater, which I loved. And I loved my classmates, and I'm still friends with every one of them. And what we did while we were in school was continue to work together. We would do a play with the school, and then we would be rehearsing a play outside that we would do in a warehouse. And when I was on Pretty Little Liars, I would write short films for us to do together. And then, now my director and my best friend just directed Feed, my feature film. So it's like, to me, the two best things that you can do are get yourself in a situation in which you can fail, and that's okay, because that's where you're going to learn the most, and surround yourself with creative, like-minded people and work with them, because there's nothing better than working with your friends. They, not only can they call you on your BS, but they can also love you and support you better than anybody else can. And it's a vicious industry. It's frankly it sucks most of the time. But if you have your friends around who are like, no, that was really good work, that not so much, or like, you have spinach in your teeth. It's just good. So that's what I would say. Go to school and work with your friends.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice. We have time for one more.
Hi.
Hello.
If there is an uncomfortable part of filming, what would that be about, like, overall, the whole show?
The whole show, the most uncomfortable? No, I won't. Oh, yeah, besides the whole, spoiler thing. Sex scenes are pretty weird. Yeah, they're the worst. They're the worst. You got a bunch of people staring at you. You've got, weird covers on your boobs.
You have to film it a few times.
Oh, hours. And let me tell you, nobody stays fresh. You know what I mean? You're under hot lights, and people are, coming in and, doing weird, they're, putting makeup on, your anywhere on your body, your butt. It's so weird. So first of all, you're just being touched a lot, and you have to stand still or not eat or drink water for a while because you're just I'm just so tired. But those are always the funniest experiences too, because after you've had sex scenes with somebody like I have with Keegan for 7 years, you get so weird, and because you have to joke. You have to joke around. It can't. I know that other people are I have real feelings for for the person that I did this sex scene with, or I don't know, I've heard those rumors where it's not fake, you know what I mean? I'm dude, we've been together for 7 years. Kissing you is like kissing my brother sometimes. Please don't eat the garlic bread, please. But we always had a lot of fun. So it was the sex scenes at once could be the most awkward, but they were also a total blast because we were just Looney Tunes.
Thanks for such an amazing show.
Thank you. Thank you for watching and supporting it.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We can't wait to see how it ends. At least I can't.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys can't either. But once it ends, it ends. I'm sad, but thank you again for being here. We can't wait to watch, and good luck with everything in your future.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
guys.
Thank you guys for coming today.